So, according to OBS, we're live. Let's see if the stream is live on. It definitely looks like it should be. It says we're live.
Are we live? In a world where David and Tal are live. I'm going.
Where the link is.
Of course, now my computer would pick the best time to be really slow.
Oh, naturally. Yeah, of course. Okay.
Oh, yeah. There it is. Except it says Skyrim VR live stream joining the companions.
I'm changing the title. I think it still says Skyrim.
Yep. Now it says Fallout 4 live stream. 9 are watching us. Hello, everybody.
All right, great. Thank you for tuning in.
Hey, Alan.
Let me adjust something real quick. I need to get the correct thing for this. If you're watching right now, like Alan, can you let us know? Can you hear both of us fine? We're on Discord, so the Tal can read chats while I'm playing. So if you can hear both of us, just let us know down in the comments. So we're on Discord, so the Tal can read chat. Just maybe. Right.
So this is Tal right here. Can you hear me? This is Tal. And then David was the other guy who was just talking.
Yes. Oh, Julian, good point. So the notification said Skyrim that you probably got. So what I might do is I might actually stop the stream and then restart it so that you guys get the correct notifications in your emails and everything.
They're saying your voice is also a little bit low, David.
Yeah, that's because I'm not wearing the Vive at the moment. It's probably louder right now.
It is much better.
Yeah, once I put the Vive on, it'll be louder. So what I'm going to actually do is I'm going to restart the stream real quick so that the notifications come through correctly.
And the title updates. All right.
Yeah. So we'll be right back.
After these messages, we'll be right.
Start streaming. Live stream should be live again. If anyone is watching, they should have the correct title. Everything should be good to go at the moment. So let us know if that is not the case. And, of course, you guys, if you're watching now, you know it's Fallout. The title's updated already for you guys. Yeah, so we're going to be playing some Fallout 4 VR.
Woo!
We're going to be playing it for about an hour, so you guys can see the beginning portion of the game, get a good look at how everything works and the mechanics. And we're playing on a Vive, obviously. That's the only officially supported platform at the moment.
It will work on Rift, but it's just a little wonky with the controls.
True. It isn't ideal, I guess you could say, at the moment. It's not.
Yeah, not optimized.
Not as turnkey as just opening up the Vive and having it work flawlessly. All right. Let's see. So, can everyone hear both of us well? Is that coming through good? Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and put on the Vive now. So, 1 second.
And David, for this live stream, David's going to be driving, and I'll be checking out the comments for your questions that we can answer. And I'm Tal.
All right. Now I have to figure out where I put my controllers.
Here we go. David should be nice and loud now because I can tell he just put the Vive on, and I can hear him much better myself.
All right. There we go, everybody. There's my Pip-Boy. Trusty Pip-Boy right at my side. It'll be a little delayed for you, Tal, because we're on Discord.
Yep.
Yeah, but just by a few seconds. All right, this is right at the beginning of the game. So if you've ever played Fallout 4 before, you should recognize I just exited the vault. So I've only really done the opening 20 or so minutes. And let's see.
Yeah, we are getting very realistic breathing sounds from David as he's running around the wasteland as well. So.
I'll try to not do that too much. You're just lucky it doesn't have arm swinger locomotion, otherwise you'd be hearing a lot more breathing.
So anybody who's watching now, have anybody here actually played Fallout 4 VR, or even just, you know, the original Fallout, Fallout 4 non-VR on consoles or PC?
I have. I never finished it, but I played it.
Well, thank you, David. You never finished Fallout. That's surprising to me. I know you're a big RPG guy.
Yeah, but I'm always more into the fantasy setting stuff. So Elder Scrolls is my jam more than Fallout is.
So a little bit of background for those of you who haven't played Fallout. Looks like Pigney has in the stream. If you haven't played Fallout, Fallout 4 is set all around Boston in Massachusetts after a big nuclear war that happened, and you have been frozen for about 200 years, and you're just coming back to your old neighborhood here and meeting, this is Codsworth, who was your helper robot.
They came into the vault.
Kind of a butler, maid, baby nanny.
She can't be.
He has a big saw, which always confused me, the big saw in his hand. And you're letting him hold and care for your baby, but whatever.
He has multiple appendages, okay, so he can multitask.
Listen to me carefully. Have you seen him? Have you seen?
One of the things I love about Cogsworth is that if you name your character a relatively common name, like myself, I'm David, he says it in the game. He actually says David.
Yeah.
He's gone.
You can also, oh jeez, I forgot some of the from the original because I did that too. You can, or when it first came out, you can do some like funny names in there too, and they'll do some funny reactions to your name.
Yeah.
God damn it! Tell me what's going on.
So Wesley's asking to deconstruct everything in the neighborhood. Wesley, we're not quite to the point where we're able to do that yet in Sanctuary, but we'll probably get to that today. I would think no problem, because it's soon after you rescue, you know, the folks in Concord, which we're gonna go do.
All right.
Stop it.
I'm skipping over the dialogue because I don't want to spoil too much, and you don't want to hear too many voices talking at the same time anyway.
Ugh.
Alright.
Alright.
Okay. Let's search around Mr. Cogsworth. Oh, we get to see him spring into action.
He does have a very handy-dandy flamethrower as well if you take him as a companion. Again, probably not very baby-friendly, but...
Wait. My senses are picking up movement in another house. Follow me!
Yes, sir. And as you can see, I'm playing with smooth, direct locomotion, but they also have teleportation as an option.
Rusty Nails Gameplay is asking, what are the graphics like? Are they similar to Skyrim VR? And to say that, are they a little bit dumbed down? Yeah, they are, Rusty Nails. You know, Bethesda did release a beta patch, at least, and the graphics are improved a little bit, but to me, they're still a little bit muddied. The textures are a little muddy, especially when you get like really close up. So it's definitely something to me when I was playing that it was very noticeable.
Yeah, that's true for me as well. I mean, you can probably tell in the stream, like whenever I get up close to this shelf here, the textures look far worse than they did not only in the base version of the game, but also in other VR games. I feel like visually are a little bit better. And that, you know, that's kind of to be expected with a game of this size. Obviously, there's some, you know, things that they have to cut back on in order to make it all playable, but I feel like overall I'm a little disappointed in the visuals. They're not too advanced from how they were at E3, and you know, I thought that demo was older, and it doesn't seem like they really made a whole lot of improvements visually.
Yeah, I'll say like you said though, David, and I said in my review as well. Fallout is one of those kinds of games that is just so big and it does so many things that I can forgive it a little bit for maybe not being super graphics heavy and super all the textures looking fantastic because the world is just so big and you can just explore so much that to me is really the magic of a game like this.
Yeah, I absolutely agree.
Come on, Codsworth.
Pygmy is asking, have you ever heard of Nolo VR? I have not. What about you, David?
Concord is nearby.
I have not. No, that doesn't sound familiar.
What is that, Pygmy?
As put together as I.
There's still people alive?
Yes, I shall remain here and secure the home.
All right, let's go investigate Concord.
Woo!
And I haven't figured it out yet. How do I jump using the Vive controllers?
It's the left trigger, I believe.
Ah, there we go. Okay. The water sure does look nice.
Yeah, I do have to say, I mean, it definitely looks better with the new patch. But again, it's a beta patch.
Yeah. I think the biggest difference that patch made is in the far off distance, there isn't as much blurriness as there was before.
Yeah.
But overall, I mean, it's not like they did like a new texture pack or something. Like, it's still the same game. Dog meat!
Yeah. It did get really smeary, when it was really far away, that's for sure.
You lose your owner, buddy?
Greet the dog.
Okay, then. Let's stick together.
You and me, bro.
Hey. How you doing, buddy? Hey, boy. Think you can find something for me? See if there's any good stuff nearby.
We'll find some items. Yeah, good boy. Very good. Where'd he put it? Oh, he just gave it to me. Okay.
Now, I'll say one thing I did want to do in VR is I would really love to be able to, like, reach down and pet dog meat and have him really react to that. I can imagine that in my head, but it just doesn't really work like that in the game world, and that's something I kind of really wanted, just to be able to scratch him behind the ears or play around with him a little bit.
Yeah, I really wish in Skyrim and in this that Bethesda had chosen to model your hands in the game. I feel like that's something that's really missing that I want to see.
Yeah, when you just have a floating gun and a floating Pip-Boy.
Whoa!
Speaking of which, David, Rusty Nails is asking, can you demonstrate the Pip-Boy? Maybe after you kill these mole rats.
Yeah, no problem. And so, as you may know, if you played Fallout 3, New Vegas, or 4, you would press a button and the Pip-Boy would pop up on the screen. It would take up the whole screen, and you have to navigate it like a menu. But here in VR, it's always here on my left hand. So if I take my left hand and I twist my wrist and point it at my face, it's like I'm actually looking at a Pip-Boy in real life. You know, I have to actually move my wrist around to do it. And then using the left trackpad, I can navigate the Pip-Boy as if I'm pressing the buttons on the Pip-Boy itself down here at the bottom. And I can look at my status, I can, go through my inventory, I can look at my different quests, everything that you would do outside of VR is, you can do it here. Oh. But the game doesn't stop, and outside of VR, the game would freeze whenever you look at your Pip-Boy. It doesn't do that in VR. So you can't use your inventory as a way to pause and think for a second.
Hey.
Right. I will say, I mean, they did a really nice implementation with the Pip-Boy, with using the trackpad to scroll through all the menus and everything.
Yeah, it feels really good. I don't have any problems with that at all.
And as far as Nolo VR goes, I just looked it up, and we did do a story on Nolo. It's a tracking system for mobile VR headsets, and we did a story. Yeah. We did a story back in January. Maybe we need to reach out to those guys and update that, see where they are.
Yeah, totally.
But yeah, it's VR motion tracking for mobile and Steam VR.
Okay, the next enemies I find, I'll use VATS so everyone can see how that works.
Yeah, you know, I really like the way the VAT system works in Fallout 4 VR. It's more of a slow-mo system rather than a complete stopping of the action. It can, especially if you're kind of far away, it can get kind of tricky to target specific body parts because, you know, people are constantly moving. So unless you're holding it really, really, really still, you're going to be jumping from like chest to left arm to right arm to the leg because it's a, you know, very small target with a lot of different body parts on it. But I like that it's slow-mo and not just totally stopping the action.
Yeah, totally. Oh, there we go. Nice. That is pretty awesome. That one worked out perfectly to be the first one. I can even see the bullet casings falling. Yeah.
I know, isn't that really cool? I really like that, actually. Being able to like really crane your head in and see the bullet casings popping out of the chamber on your guns. Like that effect is really neat. And you know, that's just something that you don't get, you know, with your fixed head position on the console or PC version of this. Like really being able to lean in and see those objects floating in space. I mean, just shows you how kind of complex this game is.
Okay,
of course, strip everybody and leave them naked on the streets, David.
That is what you do in Bethesda games.
Andro Visuals asked, how does aiming down the gun sights feel? Is it accurate? David, I mean, feel free to chime in on this. I'll say that I found it, like on a pistol, very, very good, like on a rifle too, with straight sights. Actual scopes don't work in the game yet, so they're just kind of blurred out. They're blacked out. Bethesda says they want to get those working, so you can actually look at a scope. But yeah, I thought the straight sights actually worked really well, and they did feel pretty accurate to me.
Yeah, no, it definitely does. It feels very natural to just aim a gun like you would in any other VR shooter. If anything, I would even say that aiming with the gun and that sort of gameplay feels better in VR than it does outside of VR and for Fallout.
Oh, I absolutely agree.
I always felt like the shooting in Fallout games was a little lackluster.
Julian is asking, do the covers work if you crouch? Yeah, you can crouch behind objects, you can lean around corners and things like that, so you can actually use the environment as a cover against fire.
Yeah, the neat thing about playing in VR, of course, is there's a button that lets me crouch, you know, artificially, but then I can also physically just do it. You know, I'm playing on the Vive, so I don't have to worry about the camera not being able to see me or anything like that, like you would in Skyrim. On the Vive, I can twist around in real time in 360. I can get on the ground. I can do all that kind of stuff. So it feels a lot more fluid.
Yep. Andrew is also asking, is there a hardcore survival mode? Yes. Highest difficulty is survival, so you can go right into hardcore survival mode in Fallout 4 VR, just like you could in Fallout 4. So you know where it's much harder to regain health, much more realistic. Wesley's saying go prone in the next firefight. You know, that's something I didn't do. I didn't lay all the way down when I was in a firefight.
Ooh, that's an interesting idea. Okay.
Yeah, I never tried that. I will say, after, you know, Fallout 4 is the kind of game that I want to play for hours, right? I go into a world like this, and I want to explore it to my heart's content. So I'm usually playing 3, 4, 5 hours at a stretch. It's also the kind of game that after standing up for a couple of hours, I'm ready to sit down. You know, so it is funny. I wish there was a way to reset your head height for a sitting position, because once you do that, it just feels like you're Peter Dinklage, you're Tyrion, you know, walking around the world of Fallout.
That's very true. Yeah, everyone's taller than you.
Yeah, even your basic character model. I mean, your head height is pretty short compared to the other NPCs, which is weird. I'd say you're probably about 5 feet, 5'2" or something like that.
All right, I'm going prone. I'm going prone. Getting down. Oh yeah, that's perfect. It's really strange moving at full locomotion speed while I'm prone.
That is funny. You are down on the ground and you are moving around. Look at you. Good call. That's something I didn't even try.
All right. I'm gonna switch back to a pistol now.
Rusty Nails is saying, I'm so hoping they develop this for PSVR. I do too. I love playing Skyrim on PSVR and would love to do the same thing with Fallout.
Yeah, I mean, they haven't confirmed it with a date and everything, but I think it kind of, everyone expects it, right? I mean, they'd be crazy not to.
I think it's going to be... Sorry, go ahead, David.
Oh yeah, I know whenever the date was first announced, HTC tweeted out like, oh hey, it's coming exclusively to the Vive, and Bethesda had them backtrack that because that wasn't entirely true.
Yep.
So I think it's just a timed exclusive.
Andro is asking, how are the locomotion controls? Do you walk in a straight line and go in a direction that your head is turning? No, there's actually no head turning controls in the game. You have to use the right controller for snap directions. There's no smooth. Wish they had smooth, and hopefully they're going to add that soon as well, so you can do smooth turning. But it's just snap turning right now, and you can go down to, I believe it's 30 degrees that you can go down to, and then you can pick whether you want 30, 45, 60, or 90, I believe, on the turning. But yeah, the left trackpad, you'll hold, or you'll drag your thumb up, and that makes you walk.
My aim sucks right now. Oh, there we go.
Boom, boom, boom. You can click it to run. Your aim really does suck, David.
I know.
There you go. But yeah, that's basically how you move around in the game. Well, for direct. Now you can also teleport if you want. I definitely wanted to move around direct in Fallout, and I didn't find any problem. Well, after the first day, because I was having a stomachache the day before anyway. And the day after, I was feeling a little nauseous after playing. And I was like, I wonder if it's just because I was sick recently. And then yeah, by the second day, I was totally fine in direct. So I actually really like the direct control.
We're doing some melee now. I'm gonna beat him up with a pull cue.
Andrew, yeah, you can on your locomotion. You can kind of turn. You don't really turn slightly. You can sidestep or strafe left and right with the left controller, and then the other one, your right controller, you'll actually click on the pad to do some snap turns.
I turned the difficulty up a little bit. It's on very easy. Okay, that's why. That must have been the default.
Oh yeah, go to normal.
Much better.
Or at least normal.
Yeah, killing everything in one shot wasn't a whole lot of fun.
So yeah, you kind of can drift left or right a little bit, Andro, but for turning to specific directions, you got to use the right click. Sirkin is asking, does it work with the Rift? It will work with the Rift. It's just the controls with the touch controllers are a little bit weird on the menus. Walking around, shooting, all that kind of stuff is totally fine, but since it was made specifically for the trackpads, and you can just keep scrolling endlessly with the trackpads with your thumbs, when you start using the analog sticks, they only go so far in menus. So you can to get around that, you can either use the gamepad to go through menus, which is the only place the gamepad really works because you can't move with the gamepad, or you can just kind of hope that you can get down in a long list when you're using the touch controllers. But for walking around the world, it's fine. The other area that's really hard with the touch controllers is manipulating the map and being able to get, to scroll along the entire map.
Yeah, sure thing. I'll give you my chest full of emeralds. Just
What's up, Preston?
Out of this mess.
That ain't it.
My cord's all tangled up from all that movement. I'm trying to
Who are these?
tangle a little bit.
Just folks looking for a new home, a fresh start. I've been
I know.
looking
Can't
since
wait to
Wednesday.
TP cast this.
For a while, but the ghouls
Yeah.
drove us out of there. A month ago, there were 20.
Hey,
Ghouls?
god damn it.
Better be a good one.
There's a crashed vertibird up on the roof. Old school. Pre-war. Well, looks like one of its
Getting a little quest here from Preston.
Kind of seriously sweet goodie.
I'm breaking down
We're talking a full suit of
who
chair,
the Minutemen are.
245 power armor. Military.
Now, David, who
What
did you
makes that
support in
power
Fallout?
armor
Are
so
you a
special?
Minuteman? Are you a Brotherhood?
Internalized servo
Are you an
system,
Institute
that's
kind of
what.
guy?
Inside
I
that
feel
baby,
like
super
you
is the
kind
new
of,
normal.
if you're not a Minuteman, then you're not
tougher,
for America.
resistant to rats.
And that's where I'm at.
Get the suit. You can rip the minigun right off the
At
Then
bat.
least-
again, the Brotherhood are
Do
pretty
that,
sick.
and
They're
those
terrible,
raiders
but
get
they're
an express
badass.
ticket to hell.
You're at least not with the Commonwealth. If you're not with the Minutemen.
And I can use the minigun like
Yeah, I just can't.
rifle?
The Brotherhood
Why
has
not?
the great tech,
It'll have a
and they're
manual
badasses,
trigger.
but I just can't get behind them. They're jerks.
Guys and do the old spray and pray. Now, as for the
So, what's...
Yeah, I definitely went full Minutemen
Man, there is
when I
nobody
played this
else.
on
Just us.
console.
And we're at a dead end.
Oh yeah, Wesley says don't forget to grab your magazine and
We're
bobblehead.
condemning these poor people to die.
Hey,
I don't
Sturgis,
think you can get back in here, can you?
Now, new guy.
I'm not sure.
Excellent.
Good tip, Wesley. That's the one thing about about Fallout is there are a bunch of little upgrades and things that you can buy or things that you can grab
Something coming.
All right.
to enhance your character.
Angry.
Whoops.
You got it. You got a nice silver tablespoon that's going to be good for your baby.
Exactly. Ooh, I
Julian.
blew through my ammo in there.
You're just throwing a clipboard at old ladies.
Yep.
That is the thing. Like in Fallout is one of those games I'm so used to like shooters where you can just shoot forever in VR. Like Space Pirate Trainer and things like that. It's that in Fallout resources are super limited. So
Yeah, exactly.
you always got to be mindful of that. Julian is asking if you could ask Bethesda to change or fix just one thing for Fallout 4 VR, what would it be? For me, I really think it would be support the Rift controls. I would really like to play with touch. I think just the analog sticks are just more appealing to me.
Yeah, I mean, that would be my choice too, but to give a different option, I would really like a way to see my character. And the same goes for Skyrim as well.
Yeah, that is the thing. In the console or the PC versions of both Skyrim and Fallout, there were times when you could go to a third-person view and you would see your character. Don't forget to go up top and
Locks
see your
really
power
strong.
armor.
Oops.
Hups.
Oh yeah, good point.
Yeah, you got to get your power armor and get the minigun off the helicopter. Yeah, you got to run around the side there. But yeah, I'd like to see my character as well. I mean, that's another interesting thing in Fallout is that you aren't able to fully customize your character like you were in the PC or console versions. Like you have to you pick from I think it's about 8 predetermined male or female characters.
Which is weird to me because you could customize in Skyrim.
Yep. Maymaya645 is asking, can you put your head through a door or a wall and interact with objects you shouldn't be able to reach? Or does it anchor you correctly, unlike Skyrim? There are sometimes you can absolutely put your head through a door. When I first loaded up the game, it actually, when I was making my character selection, it put me on the outside of the house instead of being like the mirror where I'm looking at my character. So I actually had to stick my head forward to be able to see my character and make my selections before going on.
Oh wow, really? Oh
Yep.
crap.
It took me a while to like figure it out. I was like, why the hell am I standing on the outside of the house? I know what it's supposed to be happening here. I'm supposed to be like looking in the mirror. And then I just leaned my head forward and there it was. I was like, oh, that's weird. But yeah, I mean, you can do that with walls and doors, but there is a one thing it does in Fallout is sometimes if you get too close to something, it will automatically bump you back a little bit, about 3 feet. So, you know, I haven't run across anything. I mean, I haven't really tried necessarily either, but I haven't run anything that you could really super exploit or anything like that. But that's a good question. It's something I'll have to try out. Adam,
I
sorry,
can't remember where the stairs are to the 3rd floor.
You go back in the room where Preston is. Preston and Sturgis. Back where you talk to them.
Yeah, I know. I'm trying to figure out how to get to the 3rd floor where they're at.
Go straight.
I think I found it.
Go right. Yep. There should be a door to your left. And there you go. Yeah, you're on the right path. Let's see. Adam is asking, do you play with vignette on and dithering?
No, I turned all that off.
Yeah, me personally, I turned dithering all the way down, and I turned vignette all the way down, so I didn't get like that tunnel vision.
Right. But that is an option if you get uncomfortable with direct movement, but you still want to use it. You can have some of that field of vision narrowing and the dithering, all those effects, but I turned them off personally.
Now, what does dithering do for motion sickness?
No idea.
David, do you know? Yeah, see, I don't either. I think dithering is just a way to degrade the graphics a little bit so it can run a little bit better.
Okay.
I believe it, because it just basically adds noise, visual noise.
Oh, yeah. Where's the minigun? It's up here, okay.
Yep, you grab it off the helicopter.
Oh, baby.
Boss, we got somebody up here. Why don't you get down
Yep,
here?
that is pretty satisfying.
So Michael just gave a good tip. I'll have to go try that in Vault 111. Michael says you can reach through the cryo gun case in Vault 111 and grab it. So yeah, I'll have to try that out, because I remember in the original, you couldn't get that for a little while because I didn't have enough skill to get that open. But that'll be funny if you can actually reach through and just grab it.
Yeah, I didn't even think about trying that.
Adam is asking, did you turn on any aliasing? Did you turn TAA and FXAA off in the console? Apparently it's good. I didn't see any alien. Boom. I didn't see any aliasing options. I guess he maybe means in the Steam VR. Deathclaw. Andrew is saying that dithering adds noise, which makes the image more realistic. I don't know about that. My eyes don't see noise, but like when I walk around the regular world. But whatever. Yeah, that's when I was playing around with that dithering option. I was like, okay, that's gonna go off.
Oh, nice.
It was nice. You made him dance.
I went into the car.
One of my favorite things about Fallout and Skyrim and just the games that Bethesda makes, as big open world games, is that it really does feel like the world is just going on without you, as opposed to it's going on because of you. So just running into like random events, or running around and finding like a pack of wolves chasing a deer, or I remember one of my favorite things in was it in Fallout 3? I think it was in Fallout 3. Where I was like walking across the wasteland and I came to this old gas station, and there was a wall in between me and like around the corner, and I just turned the corner around that wall, and all of a sudden I just ran into this group of slavers, and they were like had all these people in like choke collars and everything, and like it just scared me because it was just right there in front of my face. I'd love to find something like that in VR, right, where it's just right there. And then all of a sudden like this bumbling firefight started because I wasn't ready for it. I was like, oh my god.
Yeah.
But it's just great to run across just random events and things that happen in the wasteland.
I guess you've earned it. So here. It may not be a chest full of emeralds, but it'll have to do.
Something like that happened last time when I was playing Skyrim, where I
For the
was about to
longest
log
time,
off, and a
Mama
freaking
Murphy's
dragon
had a vision
attacked
of a
my
place called
house.
Sanctuary.
Yeah,
Came out of
Some
nowhere.
old neighborhood
exactly. I love that
new
stuff.
again. Why don't you come with us?
All right, Adam,
could really
good
use
tip.
the
I'll
help.
check out the anti-aliasing and see if I like it better. Or turning off the
All right,
anti-aliasing.
I'm in.
Oh, that's wonderful. But there's more to your destiny, isn't there? I've seen it. And I know
All right, crazy lady.
your pain.
Sure.
You don't like Mama Murphy?
My destiny? What do you mean?
Crazy lady.
You're a
That's her
man out
name.
of time,
I think it's
out of hope.
Papa Murphy's mom.
But all's not lost. I can feel
Good
the
pizza.
sun's energy. He's alive.
This segment of Fallout 4 live stream brought to you by Papa Murphy.
Oh, no, kid. And even I don't need this. You're great.
Alright, let's skip through
Please,
this.
Mama Murphy. I'm working from nothing.
Look,
All I can say about Mama Murphy is just give her a lot of drugs.
It's gonna kill you.
shush, Preston. We're all gonna die eventually.
I know everybody else.
bro.
Sounds like you
And
better
I
get
knew
going.
Everybody else at the party is like, you gotta stop giving her jet, and I'm just like,
Now let's get
look,
going.
she's old, she's lived a long life.
All right, folks.
It's a hellscape out there. If she wants to do some jet,
Safe to
she
move
can
out.
do some jet.
We're heading for that place Mama Murphy knows about. Sanctuary. It's not far.
She knows about it? You mean she had one of her visions while she was stoned out of her gourd? And now you want us to just head out on another wild goose chase based on no better plan than
Yep,
Mama
that's where we're
Murphy's
going.
what?
Now the question is, do I head back to Sanctuary or should I go to Diamond City?
I would go to Sanctuary first because I think you can kind of show some of the building, right, and like destroying things and kind of how that
Okay,
works,
okay.
the workshop stuff. Because once they get there, I think you can do that immediately. I think you just talk to Sturgis and you can jump right into it. It's kind of interesting to show the workshop stuff. Now, I will say in workshop mode, it's funny because even though you might play the rest of the game in direct mode, once you go into workshop mode, you have to go into teleport mode because of your left trackpad acts as the selector for your objects. So it's kind of a little disorienting jumping like into a whole completely different locomotion system. But you get used to it soon enough. Wesley asks, can you get drunk in VR? Yep. Drink enough whiskey. Absolutely. Drink enough whiskey or wine.
I can't remember. Okay, I guess I technically have it stationed there now.
You can, but you're gonna you'll have a power armor station up at your sanctuary as well too if you want to use that one.
Oh, true.
But I mean, this is I always like hanging out at the gas station too.
Yeah, whenever I played previously, I built this into like its own settlement. I really liked the gas station as a central hub.
Yeah, me too. When I was playing Fallout 3, before I even like had a house or anything, I basically hung out in like this little shack behind the supermart and used an old dumpster to store all my stuff. So it's very much like real life.
All right, I'll put this here. There we go.
Yeah, Wesley's asking what it's like to get drunk. Is it nauseating? No, it's just everything gets a little blurry and changes color, and you know it's just a kind of effect, and everything gets a little slow and draggedy. But yeah, it's not super nauseating or anything.
What'd you find, boy? This dead body? Whoa, okay.
Yeah, you can see just like in the other Fallout games, you know, non-VR Fallout. Sometimes dog meat will get all wonked up and get diagonal, and Doesn't sit right in the environment.
It wouldn't be a Bethesda game without it.
It wouldn't be a Bethesda game without it. Exactly. Octavio again asking if you think a PSVR port's going to come. Absolutely. I think we'll see Fallout in PSVR next year.
I agree. And I think we'll see Skyrim on PC next year too.
Yep. I agree with that. Yeah, Mamiya is saying that when crazy things like, you know, a typical Bethesda game happen in VR, it's better than ever. I agree with you. Like, it says, you know, I will give Bethesda games a lot of pass for the weird wonkiness, because again, how complex the world is. But sometimes those things are just freaking hilarious too.
I lived here.
Damn.
Like, I love, one time I was playing, again, this was in Fallout 3, but like this huge beam of light, like the MCP in Tron, came down in the distance, and I was like, I gotta go check that out. What is that?
I'm sorry.
Thinking it was part of the game, and I get closer, and it's just like a graphical glitch. But like a death claw, like, is around that area, and he like finds me, and I'm just like super low level at this point, and I'm like, you know, in Fallout 3 too, the death claws are really tough. And so I just started running, and he just, I kind of look back, and he just flies up into the air, like just, whoo, like straight up in the air, and he's just gone. And I'm like, okay, well, that was freaking scary and weird, and then, you know, that beam of light's still there, and I'm just like, all right, I'm just going to get away from this area. And about 15 minutes later, I'm walking around, and this death claw just falls from the sky right in front of me and kills me, and I'm like, what the heck is going on?
Sounds about right. Alright, let's do some leveling up now.
What kind of graphics card are you running on right now, David? Is it a 1080, 1070?
980 Ti.
A 980 Ti. And yeah, Kay Asante was just asking, what rig are you running on? The graphics look to have taken a huge hit. I mean, they are downgraded for the VR version, just like in Skyrim for sure. And there's not that many graphical options, at least in the game menus themselves, that you can really tweak.
Yeah, I didn't really notice any. Let's see.
So we got a question. Do we think that VR mods will happen? I certainly hope so, man. I mean, I think the community will do it regardless, right? I mean, like, it's going to happen. There's going to be some way to do it. But yeah, I certainly hope so, because that, to me as well, playing Skyrim and Fallout on PC were some of my favorite things, were the mods.
Yeah, absolutely. Just Bethesda games in general always have such amazing mod communities. All right.
Julian is asking, is everything the right scale, or is there anything weird? I mean, I would say that for the most part, things are the right scale. The thing is, for the Pip-Boy, you can scale it to whatever size that you want. I prefer to have mine a little bit bigger so I can read the menus a little bit easier, so I really jack that scale up, so it's pretty unrealistic when you raise your left hand. But yeah, I mean, for the most part in the game, everything seems to be in the right scale, except your character seems to be about 5'2". So when you go up to NPCs,
right,
so it's not really your height.
We're gonna go talk to some settlers now.
Do it. Oh, actually, you know what? Can you show? Is it Wesley?
Oh, right.
Wesley saying, yeah, scrap something. Like, show people how kind of the workshop or scrapping works.
How do I enter the scrapping mode?
I think it's the left menu button, the top above the touchpad.
I can save. Right menu button is VATS. Left menu button is pause menu.
Oh, what's the top button above the trackpad on the left side?
Yeah, that's the pause menu.
Huh. What if you hold it down? I could have sworn that's what it is. I don't know. Unless, have you talked to Sturgis actually?
Holding it down does it.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, I'm seeing what you mean now. This having a totally different movement method is a little weird at first.
Yep, especially if you haven't used it yet before. Now, I will say the cool thing about teleport is that they actually implemented it pretty well in the game to fit the game world. If you'll see, David, if you can show your little icon again, if you're closer to your character, you'll see pull a little bit closer to you.
Yeah, it turns blue.
You'll see a blue, exactly, a blue circle. That means you're not actually using action points, so it's like walking. If it's green...
I see.
Yeah, it uses action points because it's like sprinting.
Gotcha.
Yeah, so I mean, actually, you know, falling in with the game world, they did a pretty good implementation of it. But man, I could not imagine running across the wasteland and having to click 500,000 times.
There we go. Just scrapped this house.
So yeah, you can see basically you just highlight it, and then you hit right on your right trackpad, and you can scrap.
What the heck? Is that a bandit shooting at me, or is that... Oh no, he's shooting at roaches, okay.
You can scrap that car.
Gotta clear out the site here.
Hey, look at the sky for a second too, since it's nighttime, David.
Yeah, the stars, they look like they're floating in front of me, and they're not actually part of the sky.
Yeah, isn't that annoying?
It's very annoying. They're like in front of the trees almost.
Yeah, like the trees will look... So, I'll say this was one of the most annoying things that I found with the game. It's almost like you're in a little transparent planetarium when you're walking around at night. The star field that's around you actually appears to be closer than the atmosphere of the Earth itself. So it's like you're in this transparent dome with stars, and while they will get occluded by things like the trees or things like big radio towers or houses like terrestrial objects, they're actually in front of the clouds. It just takes you out of the world. It's just really weird. I don't know why it's like that, because Skyrim actually looks pretty good at night. And it's the same menu.
It looks great. I don't understand it. How do I actually select items on here?
You click it.
Oh, I go up. Okay.
Yep.
There we go.
Go up for structures. Exactly.
Let's get some floors.
There you go. Julian's asking, do you see well at night? There's a lamp right. Yes, there is, Julian. If you hold down on the left grip button, you can get your Pip-Boy, your green light that'll pop up. And here David's just laying down a floor. Yeah, building's still a little bit of a pain in the ass. Kind of hard to lay stuff.
Let's get...
Physical?
I guess I'll use this base. That's the best one, it looks like.
Yeah, or just get a pre-built thing too. You can just kind of show. But yeah, you can see, if you turn your controller, or turn your trackpad, I should say, run your thumb over the trackpad, you can turn how objects are facing when you lay them down. So there's a little bit more control over what you had in the previous versions. But I mean, in all honesty, it's still building is still a little wonky in the game. I will say that I went building crazy when I played this before. And, you know, my sanctuary is all outfitted. I even created an entire bar with like a jukebox and pool table, and collected all the balls for the pool table. And, of course, nobody goes in there. Or when they do go in there, I'll come back. And people will have, knocked over all the bottles that I so nicely placed everywhere. They're a bunch of cretins. They're a bunch of horrible people who come into my bar.
Got a door now.
Octavio is asking, how's the minigun and the flamethrower? They're great. I love the feeling of the guns. Like, shooting just feels better to me. Like, just more. You're just more attached to it. I mean, and you're actually feeling like you're able to aim better, and you're able to like shoot around corners and things like that. So yeah, and the minigun feels really good. And yeah, the flamethrowers feel really good. Now, I did have a problem with some of the Molotovs for throwing on the Rift. You have to hold down the grip button and then release it. I did find myself, because where the grip button is, if you're moving your controller a lot, it's not hard to accidentally tap that grip button. and I would occasionally just drop a Molotov cocktail in the middle of a NPC while we were having a conversation, and that, of course, always ends up hilarious but horrifying.
Yeah, I murdered quite a few people in Skyrim, that's for sure.
Here, David, show him the lamp. Hold down your left grip button.
Oh, Jesus! That Molotov cocktail. There you go. There we go. Is there a way to quickly switch weapons, or do you have to go into the Pip-Boy?
You can on your you can assign favorites, and using your right trackpad, you can then hold it down and you can select your favorites. But you have to set them as favorites first.
Gotcha.
Julian asking us, what weapon do I like the most in VR? I don't know. I'd still say the junk launcher, simply because I just find it hilarious to shoot like a.
Such a great weapon.
Yeah, I love like shooting Jangles the Moon Monkey at folks. So yeah, you know, the junk launcher is basically you can just launch anything in any object in the game world at somebody. I always found that one a lot of fun. But of course, you know, like the Fat Man, the nuclear weapon is so great in VR as well too. I'll tell you what, David. I think a good, because we're coming up on an hour soon, but I bet you can get down to Diamond City. Why don't we at least start going that way and see if we can get down to Diamond City, and then maybe we'll pick up a future stream around there. But yeah, it'd be kind of cool to go closer to the city and show people that. So, yeah. Set a waypoint.
I think I'm over encumbered, finally.
Are you really?
Yep. There we go.
Yeah, Adam, I'm with you. I prefer projected Pip-Boy after a while as well. You know, it's a neat effect to lift up your left arm and pull the Pip-Boy up, but if you're playing for hours at a time, which is what I do with Fallout, it does get tiring after a while. So I went to projected as well.
Gotta push through. It's worth it for the immersion. I have a feeling I'm gonna step on a mine. I know it.
Tick, 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 tick.
Come on, dog meat. Over here, boy.
Yeah, Julian, it can be pretty scary to walk around at night, especially if you got like some feral ghouls that pop up around you. That's for sure. And Wesley, just because I'm shooting junk at something doesn't mean I'm wasting junk. I go pick it up afterwards.
There we go. Let's wait for him to get super close. Then, boom.
Yeah, you can see in VATS how it's kind of hard to target a specific area, especially if you're far away. You got to hold it real steady. But it's super satisfying, and there's some good chunking. I just love watching those shell casings fly in slow-mo, too. It's just a really cool effect. Oh, the stars.
Yeah, it really takes you out of it. You want to look up and see a nice night sky with the moon, and then it's like there's a film hanging in front of you.
Yep. You know, it doesn't translate that much to the stream itself, but yeah, trust me, when you're in it, that's the thing to me that was the most distracting, was just seeing like this transparent planetarium around me when it would be nighttime. I was just like, aw. Like that just seemed very super weak, you know, having that layer of stars that were in front of the clouds.
Yeah. Whoops. There we go. Just sell all this stuff. That's fine.
There's more junk to collect. You'll be fine in the long run.
I don't feel like standing at a shopkeeper here on the stream. I can do that later.
But oh my god, that's my weakness in games like these is the inventory management. Like I want it to be, I want to be perfect. Are you're playing on normal right now, right, David?
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't find, you know, I would even, I mean, you know, I'm somebody who has played Fallout before, and would even go up a level, because there's certain fights in Fallout that can get pretty tough. But for the most part, just walking around is not that bad. And you know, if you're up a little bit, at least, I don't know, I found death claws a little bit in Fallout 4 to be much easier than they were in the previous versions. So I just like that, you know, if I see a death claw, my natural instinct is usually, like from the previous games, to run, but they're not that bad
waving that gun in
this version.
Yeah.
It's gonna involve me.
That's it.
Oh yeah, these guys.
Yeah, there we go. Man, that guy's body got all distorted. Oh my gosh.
You can also, with the magic of VR and Fallout Meat, you can see eyeballs floating around and teeth and brains.
Beautiful.
Once you get yeah. Especially when you get like the bloody mess perk. Oh yeah, that's super sweet. Look at that. Yeah, that slow-mo VATS mode is really neat.
Well, hey there, pup.
Alright. I think we're almost to Diamond City.
Paul is saying that it looks a little choppy. Is the performance bad? I mean, I wouldn't say the performance is bad for most of the game. When you do hit an area where there's a lot of ragdoll physics going on, or you have a big explosion, a lot of particle effects, things like that, it definitely does slow down. You'll get some bits like that, but for the most part, when you're just running around the wasteland, it feels fine. Yeah, Wesley says get the idiot savant perk, which that's the one. I think that's you get XP, additional XP for. Oh, what is it exactly? And like if your intelligence is lower.
Alright, almost to Diamond City. As soon as I get there, I've got to stop for now.
Yeah, it is. You randomly receive 3 times XP from any action, and the lower your intelligence, the greater your chance to get it. And as you go up in ranks, you get more and more and more XP from random actions sometimes. And you'll also, it's funny because in the game you'll get things like doi, day.
Yeah.
You get like some nice sound effects from it. I usually take that one. Like you'll find a new place and you'll get XP for it, and you'll go day.
Is this Diamond City? Or no, I'm not there yet. I'm not going to be able to get to Diamond City. It's too far.
No way. No problem. No problem. This is, I think, the Corvega plant, right?
Yeah,
oh yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well, it was fun streaming the game for you guys. If you have any further questions about Fallout 4 VR, you can always read a review at uploadvr.com. We also have a comparison article about Fallout 4 versus Skyrim. And always you can tweet us and comment on articles with questions and let us know what you guys think. So, yeah, thanks for watching.
Yeah, thanks very much. And we'll be doing some future Fallout 4 streams as well. So keep looking for those on the site, and we'll show off some more of the game.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. Thanks for joining me, Tal.
Yeah. Thank you, David, and thank you, everybody, for joining us. Take it easy.
Bye.